The small town of Windale was usually quiet and peaceful. Its single main street, lined with quaint shops, old stone benches, and steaming coffee cups every morning, was its hallmark. Everyone knew each other, and even the smallest gossip would spread across the town within minutes. However, one morning, the serene atmosphere of the town was replaced with anxiety and confusion. On the steps of the old church in the center of the town, an abandoned baby was found, left by an unknown person. The baby was wrapped in a thin, worn blanket, with a small note attached beside it. "Protect her. She's running from the past." The baby was first discovered by elderly Mr. Thomas, who came to clean the church early that morning. A quiet, reserved man, Thomas was at a loss for what to do when he found the baby on the steps. The baby was peacefully asleep. Her cheeks were slightly flushed from the cold, and her tiny hands were tightly gripping the blanket. The town priest, Father Elijah, was immediately called. Elijah had never encountered a situation like this in his life. The words on the note puzzled him. Running from the past. What could that mean? What kind of story lay behind these words? The news spread quickly throughout the town, and soon, people gathered at the church. Everyone was asking the same questions. Who had left the baby? What did the note mean? And why had the baby been abandoned in such a small, quiet town like Windale? Living in Windale were Emily and David Carter, a couple who had never imagined they would play a role in such a story. Emily worked at the town library, leading a quiet life surrounded by books. David, a carpenter, brought old furniture back to life like an artist. The couple had been trying to have a child for years, but had been unable to due to medical reasons. In the crowd gathered at the church, Emily's eyes filled with tears the moment she saw the baby. She felt a connection, a protective instinct that she hadn't felt in years. As Emily cradled the baby in her arms, a silent agreement passed between her and David with just a glance. Father Elijah was relieved when the Carters offered to care for the child. They named her Lily. But the story wouldn't end there. Lily's past would shape the peaceful lives of the Carter family and the entire town of Windale. As Lily grew up, nearly everyone in town adored her. She was a cheerful, energetic, and curious child. However, Emily and David struggled with how to tell her about her past. She didn't know where she came from or anything about her biological family. But from an early age, Lily began having strange dreams. In her dreams, she saw a dark forest, the distant echo of a baby crying, and a faint figure of a woman. When Lily shared these dreams with Emily, her mother dismissed them as nothing more than a child's imagination. But by the time Lily turned 10, these dreams became more vivid. One night, she dreamt of a woman in a white dress leaning toward her and whispering, "Find me, Lily. The past is calling you." At the age of 15, Lily experienced a pivotal moment in her life. Emily had kept the note left with her on the church steps in an old box. When Lily discovered it, it marked the beginning of her quest. Protect her. She's running from the past. The note consumed Lily's thoughts. What past was she running from? Who were her biological parents? Why had she been abandoned? Emily and David discouraged her from digging into her past, but Lily was determined to find answers. Lily began researching old town records at the library where her mother worked. She found no birth records or clues related to her abandonment. Just as she was about to give up, she discovered an old journal in the church's library. The journal belonged to Mr. Thomas, and it contained an entry about the day Lily was found. "That morning, I saw a woman at the church. Her hair was blowing in the wind. As she placed the baby on the steps, we locked eyes for a brief moment. She looked sad, but there was also fear in her eyes. Then she ran, disappearing into the forest." These words led Lily to venture into the forest on the outskirts of town. Lily entered the eerie forest just outside Windale. The tall trees blocked almost all sunlight, and a faint breeze seemed to guide her. Deep in the forest, she stumbled upon an abandoned cabin. Inside, The cabin was in disarray, but a photograph on the wall caught her attention. The photograph showed a woman holding a baby. The woman bore a striking resemblance to the figure in Lily's dreams. On the back of the photo, a date was written the same year Lily was abandoned. Lily took the photo home and showed it to Emily, who didn't recognize the woman. However, Father Elijah might. When Lily brought the photo to him, the priest's face turned pale. This woman ... I remember her. She used to sing in the church choir. Her name was Margaret. But one day, she vanished without a trace. Elijah explained that Margaret had once been one of the most beloved members of the community, but had disappeared suddenly. People had assumed she had run away, but no one knew why. As Lily delved deeper, she discovered that Margaret was the daughter of the prominent Donahue family, one of the most respected families in town. When her family learned that Margaret was expecting a child out of wedlock, they disowned her. The shame forced Margaret to flee. Lily's discovery touched the hearts of the townspeople. The long-buried secret brought together Margaret's and Lily's stories, revealing the truth. Learning that she was the heir to the Donahue family left the town in shock. But for Lily, the inheritance didn't matter. What mattered was uncovering her mother's story and honoring her memory. To honor her mother, Lily transformed the old Donahue estate into an orphanage, providing a home for children who, like her, had been abandoned. The process brought the town closer together and left an indelible mark on Windale's history. This story served as a reminder that secrets, no matter how deeply hidden, eventually come to light, and facing the past is an essential part of moving forward. If this emotional story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. Stay tuned for more.